Hello, everyone. Happy New Year. By the time you're watching this, it is probably now 2025. Let's talk about some goals for this year, maybe some early goal setting. And we're here in the garage shop. I was working today. It's actually a proud tradition in Fuzzimp lore to actually work on New Year's because I started the company building my very first kit as we went into January of 2021. So December 31st, 2020, I had purchased for myself a kit for Christmas and I was building it. I got it working a couple hours before it turned to 2021. The next morning I woke up and said, oh, excuse me, I am starting a pedal company. And I did. As we now know, what now became Fuzzimp at the time was Fuzzimp, which was my fan page for reviewing all these pedals I had been collecting the year prior. And so I have a project that I might make a dedicated video on. This is the Aeon Effects AVP preamp. So it's a lot of controls. It's a very dense board. For example, here's like a kind of like conventional fuzz board for a size comparison. And then here's something, obviously this is with SMT construction. Here's a creature harness for comparison. It's about not quite 300 components, but just shy, all in once it's all tooled and assembled. Wanted something fun to challenge myself. I got this for myself for Christmas, and this is what I've been working on. And I may do a mini series because as I was building this, I discovered a lot of cool things. But as far as Fuzzimp news, definitely check out fuzzimp.com. There will be a link down below or in the description. Check out things like the Sender 5, really good, versatile pedal. One of the best things that's kind of came to fruition this last year. I think it was out at the very end of 2023, but 2024 is kind of when it was out and available. Comes in hammered copper finish in black. Very, very cool pedal. Creature is shipping fast. Limited edition white creatures are available again. Machina 2 has become a hit. It's definitely a very popular pedal. It's very good. Some other things about me. I've been shaving my head. It actually takes a lot of discipline to keep a really smooth bald head. My bald spot has progressed to the point that it's not really sustainable anymore. If you haven't been keeping tabs on the company, I do currently live in Amity, Oregon again. So when I started the company, I was preparing to move kind of to be on my own for the first time, maybe ever, where I lived totally solo. And it also coincided with starting this company. It was a very exciting time. It still is a very exciting thing. I think I'm really glad to be doing what I do and still be around. I think 2024, and now that it's ending, it's still like 10:30 p.m. on New Year's Eve in my time. But I learned a lot of lessons. I was living in Portland at the beginning of the year, which I really did enjoy. I made a lot of cool friends there. It was a cool place. I think what was difficult was just the overhead and where I was at the time with the company. It was a really slow year, and it got particularly bad this summer. Is why I moved back to Amity, staying with the folks, working out of a garage, a little more of a humble space. But I'm really grateful that I'm still able to make pedals for a living. And I'm looking forward to what this year brings. So some things that are coming up on the horizon. So I announced the Amity pre-order. I gave it a really long tail in kind of fall of this year. Announced it, took a few pre-orders. It really did. It's hard to get momentum on these new products, and I pretty quickly realized, just based on what was happening with the economy and the sales inflow, even just a handful of pre-orders wasn't quite enough to really bring it to fruition. So pretty quickly I realized this, got in contact with people. I'm sending them out an entire bonus fuzz for those who got in early on that run. And it'll also be receiving a unit as soon as they're ready. And the board is fully done. That's the next big step, is funding that. So if you, like I said, shop the link, check out fuzzimp.com. I have closed, basically permanently closed the pre-orders for Amity. I was running a bit of a discount for early birds when I first announced it to kind of drive interest. But like I said, there just wasn't quite enough people who onboarded to really push it over the line. The good news is backlog is basically clear otherwise, which is not always been the case, especially around the holidays. Sometimes things could get really messy in the past. I remember going into multiple times coming out of Black Friday, going into December, and having quite a bit of backlog to carry and being very worried and still managing to get through it. So that's not the case this year, which is really good. I'm really excited about that. But yeah, so Amity will be out hopefully very, very, very soon. My guess is to probably be shipping by late January would be the goal. Kind of depends on the timeline of things. But I anticipate just a general interest in guitar gear kind of resurging this year. In 2025, I think with NAMM is set to be really big. I have a lot of friends involved. I don't personally go just because the expense is really high, even just to do as a to do it as like a networking event, because that's really what I would want to do. Because I went to this Portland Pedal Expo, I think that was this last year, and that was really impactful for me to see and meet other builders in person. You know, I was just a person in the crowd. I wasn't presenting or anything, and to make those connections in real life and solidify what taking things from online and really starting to appreciate people for who they are. I met Simon from who runs Cult Effects. We have been in talks about a collab pedal at some point. No timeline on that, and he was pretty clear that there's an open-ended kind of time frame on that. But I do want to get it out, but we have to do the Amity first. I have some other projects kind of in mind. I'm going to be experimenting a lot. This is one of the reasons why I am doing this. Like, these are all the, you got to see this. This is all the pages for that IVP preamp. And I'm already like picking up some cool things. These are all the parts that go into it. And every time I do a DIY project, and this has been the case since the beginning, is I pick up new things that I want to incorporate into other designs, and I pick up new tricks, and I get inspired in different ways. And so that's something I'm definitely going to be building off of this year as well. Whatever downtime I have to be doing that. But yeah, basically very optimistic about 2025 and Fuzzimp. I was playing guitar earlier today, building today, and I was having a good time. I've been trying to record more. I think one of the things that I've let myself off the hook for is usually when I build all day, I don't want to sit and play guitar all the night and just keep making music. Usually whatever I'm doing, I'm like, well, how can I better promote the brand? I definitely want to create more scripted and provoking YouTube content. I know I started to make some longer form stuff that was like a little bit raw. I basically just turn up the camera, do it. I'm going to do stuff that's more edited, more produced. I really am overdue for a PC upgrade. But if you haven't picked up kind of in this line of thought process, the sales this last year were really brutal. On top of that, rising living expenses costs. I know I'm preaching to the choir. You all existed in this same space. And thankfully, I have much less overhead than a lot of people do. But what it meant is that anything extra just wasn't even an option. I didn't accumulate a lot of gear. I have some much needed upgrades in recording equipment and stuff like that. I'm still using my iPhone 11s for all my recording. I have two. One is recording this video, and this is my other one that I use for everything. And those are showing their age, but it's all good. I think these things are going to change. And I plan on taking Fuzzimp to the next level. I'm really excited. I have some other things, some other tools that I want to get. I want to get a hot air rework station, basically be able to mod on some of my SMT designs and try some ideas out that I hadn't really done. But yeah, Echo Moons are shipping quickly. Creatures are shipping quickly right now. I'm going to restock Adventures. I did open up ordering for Shroot 2s again. I really had a lot of interest. I basically got one back from a friend of mine that hadn't really been used. It was in a closet. I basically gave it to a friend for really cheap, and then he never really used it. Another friend ended up with it, and he needed some money, so I bought it back for cheap, and then I flipped it, and as I was having it and making videos with it, I was like, man, I really miss having Shroot 2s. One of the things that I did this year that I've never done before is when I was out of boards, I would just stop production because with the economies of scale of ordering board orders, if it's on the SMT assembled stuff, which is a lot of my more complex designs, the way it works is I have to have a big chunk of money at once in order to restock those. So I might be sitting on the inventory of boards that I'm working off of for months at a time. But when I'm unable to redo those, it makes it so the ETA on those deliveries, so like Creature wasn't available for a long time, like probably 3 or 4 months this year. Shroot 2 hasn't been available for at least that long, maybe 6 months. Shred 3D, I have thought about revamping that. You guys can hit me back. That's like the furthest evolution of the Shroot circuit, and I've thought about revamping it one more time and making it in a smaller form factor. But honestly, I feel like the Shroot and Shroot 2 are so strong, and those have always outsold whatever I've done, because I had it as the Shroot 3D for a while with a cool graphic. I redid it as the Shred 3D with like a black case with a pink graphic, and then I had it with these really wild looking cases. I was looking to see if I had one. I'm repurposed them for different things recently, but anyway, so there's some models that'll make their way back. There's some new stuff that I'm working on. Machina 2 has been doing really well, honestly. That's been the one I think that has kind of surprised me this fall season. Been seeing a lot more interest in that. I've been pushing it more. I have sourced a lot more germanium transistors, which is really important. I had to shut down ordering on those at one point. But really, I'm very optimistic about the future of Fuzzimp. I hope you all are inspired and working on really cool things for your future projects and music. I think this could mean a lot of good things for the music scene in general. Just kind of a fresh start. It was a rough year, the time of change, the economy. I think really the hangover of those shutdown years really hit this year for a lot of people, and I feel like there's going to be a huge explosion of growth, and both economic and musical and personal, hopefully. I know I was definitely very stressed out, dealing with depression a lot of times, and really not 100% sure about the future for myself and Fuzzimp and what was going to happen next. But coming out of this holiday season, coming into a new year, very optimistic. I hope you all have a great holiday, and I'm looking forward to everything new to come. So I'm always available more on my other social media platforms. Instagram is kind of my number one. I'm at Fuzzimp there, Fuzzimp. I'm really active on Threads as well. I know that that's maybe not everyone's app. You don't have to have all the apps. I also just gave up on TikTok. No interest in it anymore. It's never really been a big platform for me. I get why people like it, but it's so difficult to really drive traction, and at least the kind of content I make doesn't seem to resonate. I had some really good success with some stuff on Instagram towards the second half of this year, finding some cool nostalgia clips, recaptioning them and making them my own, and then them exploding in popularity, and that I think got some new eyes on, and that was really cool to see. So I'm trying different things, thinking about different things, excited for the new year, excited about building pedals again. I think that's another reason why projects like this or other projects I've worked on, there was a pedal that one side of the Ambi was inspired by. And as I dove into that circuit, I realized I really like this. I've never really played one of these kinds of overdrives before. And that's what led to the creation on the right side of the Amity pedal. And then the left side is now going to be, instead of it being kind of two of the same circuit, the left side is going to be bringing back the Obtainium, which has been out of production for a long time. It is one of my personal favorite Fuzzimp pedals. So yeah, lots of growth. I think personally, I got off cigarettes about 6 months ago, which was a huge step for me. I was a cigarette smoker for 10 years. Obviously, I didn't quit nicotine completely. I chose vaping. And a lot of that is kind of like the social implications of smoking. It's not that I'm saying one is healthier than the other, but I think as a whole, I'm doing a lot less nicotine, a lot less frequently, and that's going really well. That was a big change for me. Also, I never was a huge partier, but I definitely have more embraced being totally sober. Living with my folks, they are sober people, and that personally was a big step for me. So yeah, those are some of the things that have changed. I think it's helped with my mental outlook on life a lot. Maybe I'll work on some dieting and exercise programs. I think I'm overdue. I used to walk a lot more when I lived in Portland and really enjoyed that. I'm going to hopefully get back to that. Obviously, it is winter, but yeah. Well, I had a good time. It was cool catching up, setting some goals, talking about some of the changes that I've made this year, and I feel like things could really do well this year. And I'm really excited for it, and we'll catch you next time.